Hi, welcome back to Tipsy Traveler. Hope you are doing well. In today's video we are going to study about international date line, time zone differences, GMT variation, international date, ID. The international date line, IDL, is an imaginary line that runs through the Pacific Ocean. It is used to separate one day from the next. Places west of the IDL are one day ahead of places east of the line. The IDL was originally established in 1884 at the International Meridian Conference in Washington, D.C. The conference was called to establish a single prime meridian and to create a system of time zones. The IDL was chosen as the line that would separate one day from the next because it was the most convenient location for ships crossing the Pacific Ocean. The IDL is not a straight line. It zigzags around islands and countries in order to keep as many people as possible in the same day. For example, the IDL curves around Alaska so that most of the state is in the same time zone as the rest of the United States. The importance of international date line. International date line. The international date line, IDL, is important because it helps to keep track of the passage of time around the world. The IDL separates one day from the next, and it helps to ensure that everyone on Earth is on the same day. Time zone. A time zone is a region of the globe that observes a uniform standard time for legal, commercial, and social purposes. Time zones tend to follow the boundaries between countries and their subdivisions instead of strictly following longitude. There are 24 time zones in the world, each of which is 1 hour apart. The time zone that is closest to the IDL is called Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. GMT is the time at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England. The importance of time zone. Time zone. Time zones are important because they help to coordinate activities and to avoid confusion about what time it is in different parts of the world. Time zones are used for everything from scheduling meetings to planning international travel. Time zone differences. The time difference between two places is the difference between the local time in one place and the local time in another place. The time difference is calculated by subtracting the time in one place from the time in another place. For example, if it is 12 p.m. in New York City, it is 9 a.m. in London. This is because New York City is 5 hours ahead of London. The time difference between two places can also be affected by daylight saving time, DST. DST is a system that advances clocks by 1 hour during the summer months. This is done to take advantage of the longer days and to save energy. When a country observes DST, the time zone is shifted 1 hour forward. For example, when the United States observes DST, Pacific Standard Time, PST, becomes Pacific Daylight Time, PDT. The importance of time zone differences. Time zone differences. Time zone differences are important because they can affect communication and collaboration. If you are working with someone who is in a different time zone, you need to be aware of the time difference so that you can schedule meetings and communicate effectively. GMT variation. GMT variation is the difference between Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, and the local time in a particular place. GMT variation is caused by the fact that not all countries observe GMT. Some countries observe Daylight Saving Time, DST, which means that their clocks are adjusted 1 hour ahead of GMT during the summer months. Other countries have their own time standards that are different from GMT. For example, China uses Beijing time, UTC+8, which is 8 hours ahead of GMT. The GMT variation for a particular place can be found by checking the time zone map or by consulting a time zone converter. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have other questions. The importance of GMT variation. GMT variation. GMT variation is important because it helps to ensure that everyone on Earth is using the same time standard. GMT is the time standard that is used by most of the world, and GMT variation helps to ensure that the time in different parts of the world is accurate. Understanding international date and time zones. International date line and time zones are critical concepts for global travelers and businesses. Learn everything you need to know in this guide. International date line. The IDL separates one calendar day from the next. Discover its history, zigzagging path, and how it affects people. What is a time zone? Learn what a time zone is, why they exist, and how they can simplify your travels across different regions. 24 time zones in the world. Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. Watch clocks in England at 0 degrees longitude. Central European Time, CET. From Spain to Poland to Italy. Eastern Standard Time, EST. Best cities in this zone? Australian Western Standard Time, AWST. Important country in this zone? The time difference between two places. Learn how to calculate the time difference and its significance with a few straightforward examples. Daylight saving time, DST. What is DST, and how does it cause time differences among countries? Explore how DST affects summer sunsets and energy savings. GMT variation explained. What's the difference between Greenwich Mean Time and the local time of a specific location? Get answers and find out why this matters. Plan your global trip efficiently. Research. Find out time differences, visa requirements, and average temperatures in each destination. Book flights and accommodations. Use time zone calculators to schedule flights and reserve hotels. Be prepared. Bring essentials like passports, adapters, and foreign currency. Keep a map handy. Abbreviations for time zones. GMT. Greenwich Mean Time. 0. CET. Central European Time. +1. Eastern Standard Time, North America. -5. AWST. Australian Western Standard Time. +8. How to convert time zones. Find out GMT of your location. Calculate GMT based on your local time and location. Calculate the time difference. Use a time zone calculator or online tool to convert time differences between two or more locations. Adjust to accommodate local time zones. Plan activities and work schedules based on the local time at your destination. Examples of absolute and relative time. Absolute time. Specific point in time, independent of what is happening elsewhere. X, 7 a.m. Moscow time. Relative time. Time expressed in relation to an event, a change, or another reference point. X, 2 hours after lunch. Navigating time zones during business trips. Check meeting times. Confirm timing of meetings with clients or colleagues in different time zones. Travel smart. Avoid jet lag by making gradual time zone adjustments before departure. Manage deadlines. Adjust submission deadlines to be fair to workers in different time zones. Conclusion. Time zones are not just a geographical concept, they are central to global communication and trade. Understanding the ins and outs of time zones can make all the difference when planning a trip or doing business overseas.